We're
We're here.
live.
We're here.
Live from now.
Yo,
We're
what's
here.
up? Hey, man.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Augustus Carroll, man. We were just saying last time we saw each other was probably at Freeze Fest last year, which was like wound up being a really, really cold experience. I remember you being up there playing a guitar
Freezing.
and your hands were like, you
I
couldn't
could
move your
not feel my
hands.
hands. I was like trying to play all these like weird chords and stuff, and yeah, I was just like, I think I'm just gonna play quarters on this stuff. It's kind of,
It was,
I don't
I remember,
know. It was my best. It was so hard.
it was
I loved
Halloween
most of
night,
it.
and
Yeah,
your keys player was dressed like Rick James, I think.
yeah. It was funny. I was dressed up like Jesus. Um,
That's
and
right.
Abby, my sister, she was dressed up like the devil. And then I can't remember what Jackson was dressed up as, or Sam for that matter. But yeah, and then Rashad was Rick James. It was just like the most random assortment of characters I've ever probably been a part of. It was fun though. Yeah, it was a blast. That was such a fun show.
That was fun, man.
Despite
It
yeah,
shouldn't have been that cold. It was like, I mean, Halloween in Nashville growing up, I don't ever remember it being like really cold. So I didn't think it would be
that's
a problem
like when
holding a
I was a
festival.
kid. Yeah, when I was a kid and trick or treating, I remember like having to like maybe wear a sweater or something, but
Yeah.
it was just like full on winter. Like it felt like it was January.
Yeah.
Get the
It
freeze
was like
fest.
50 or like 60 degrees. I remember I woke up the day of Freeze Fest and it was like 28. And people were rolling into town from like the Carolinas. Like I had a bunch of friends coming from other places.
People
And
did the camp, right? I think
yeah,
some people did still, right? I think some people
yeah,
did.
I think so. People, yeah, oh yeah, right. People were camping. There was like probably like 40 people camping, and they were like all just like, we didn't know it was gonna be this cold. And I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't either.
There's no way you can prepare for that, man. There's nothing
Yeah,
you can do. But
you,
I don't
you,
know, man. They're dedicated. They still they did it.
they were
It's pretty.
dedicated. You were that weekend, or also I remember you were promoting your new song. You just put out "When You're Lonely." I think like four days
Maybe
before
that's right.
that.
Yeah, because I remember releasing that. Yeah, October of last year. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. And
yeah.
now
It's a.
you have a new song coming out this October, yeah?
I do. It's called A-OK. I don't know if you remember that one. I've been playing it for years. I wrote it when I was like 19, I think, and never really
Hmm.
knew what to do with it. And so it's kind of just like a standalone single. It's not really a part of the EP or anything. Um, but I don't know if you know who Josiah is. He used to play in Luke Krutsky and the High Tides. He used to play
Totally.
bass and all that. Um, yeah, I remember like we hung out one day and he was just showing me some of the stuff that he was working on. And for a long time, I've been trying to find the right person to like help me produce that song. And I was just like listening to everything that he was doing, and I was just like, oh, this guy, he could totally do this. Like, and it was just right up his alley. And so, yeah, we recorded some of it at his apartment, and then at our buddy Nathan Knox's house, and yeah, it came together pretty well, man. And yeah, it's somewhat of a political song. Um, so I feel
I
like
feel like I've
it's
heard it a bunch of
for the
times. I can't remember
I
how it
think
goes.
once you hear it, you might recognize it.
Yeah.
Um, hopefully it'll ring a bell or two.
I mean, I
But yeah,
was
I'm excited.
going through like See Around Corners, like all the songs in this EP
I know.
are like
Yeah,
staples to me. Like that's from when we were getting to play a lot of shows together, like just both just playing like as many shows as we could in Nashville/Franklin.
I would never turn down a show there for a while, man. I was like, whatever it is, I'll play it, which is
Yeah,
fun. But at the same time, it's like if you play that much, like people are gonna be like, ah, I'll miss this show. I'll come to the next one next week.
totally.
um, so
Yeah,
yeah, I
right.
think
Well, back then it
we had
was
to
like,
figure that out after a while. It's like, oh, I can't be playing like 2 shows a week, or otherwise nobody's gonna be there.
yeah,
Um,
but we kind of had that. I mean, we'd all been doing music for a while, but it was kind of like a beginner's luck in a sense to where when you're young enough, like people just want to come out and hang. Like all of our
Yeah.
friends were just going to show up no matter if we played every night of the week. And like the lineups were like Charlie Adams, Hank Compton, Savannah Conley, Rocky Block,
Yeah.
Brista Maroney. It's like all these people who just like were so talented. It was just like, how could you ever turn down like playing a show
Yeah.
with
It's just a
Savannah
pool of
Conley?
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
we were all part of that like little music community. It was awesome. You remember Mad Donna's, man? You played there a
yeah.
couple
That was
times.
the first. I think I met you there. I went to see you open up for like Cumberland Blue, maybe, or
Oh my
something.
god, I forgot about Cumberland Blue, man. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. That was awesome, man. That was such a cool place.
Yeah, that was
I
a
miss
really cool spot to play. Like that, I still would play shows there if I could. Like it was just so intimate and like it felt really fresh there up there.
Yeah. Yeah, and the sound guy was cool. Ethan Samuel Brown, I think. That's what he goes
Yeah,
by for his music. And yeah, man, I met so many good people just from playing at Mad Donna's, man. That was like a whole year's worth of shows that I would play there like probably once a month, just about.
yeah,
Uh,
for real.
I met so many cool people just through that one
Um,
venue.
Back then
And
you
then
were
solo.
playing as Augustus Carroll, but you're also playing shows with a band that you and your sister had called The
Yeah,
Shy.
right.
Is
Yeah.
is The Shy like as a project still ever like anything ever
I
cooking up
think
with
that
that?
one. I think that one's in the rear view, honestly, man. Yeah. Um, which is funny you say that because the song that you mentioned, "A-OK," that I'm releasing next month, we used to play that all the time. That was like our song. Like, that was the
Yes,
favorite
that's
one that
right.
we would play together. And but yeah, no, I think it's just hard to keep a band together, man. Like, um, people have bills to pay, and it's hard for everybody to just invest in one project. You know, when you're in your mid 20s trying to pay rent, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's hard to expect that kind of commitment for people like Nico Medina, who plays drums and everything, and um, like it's hard for him to like turn down paying shows to come, you know, play in a band that he's in. And so yeah,
right.
it's hard to expect that kind of commitment
It
for
really
that
it
long.
is hard. It
Yeah, and that's
it
kind of why I started doing the solo thing. But I remember I felt bad about playing the songs that we would play as the Shy because I wrote all the songs for that project. Um, so like I was able to like still play them, but I just felt like kind of guilty playing them without the guys. So that's why I like started doing like the folk stuff there for a little bit, um, off of that See Around Corners EP. Um, but yeah, then after a while, I was like, what, these songs are good. Like I need to like still play them, and so then I just kind of threw them into my solo project, I guess.
yeah, that's
Uh,
cool.
but
Um,
yeah, I miss playing as a band, man. It was super fun.
it's really special if you can find a group of people that will do that with you. But I mean, I'm the same way. Like I have friends who play with me a lot, and to where they almost are considered like a staple of my project. But at the end of the day, like
Yeah,
they still have other, whether it's like a relationship or work or their own artistic project. A lot of the times is the case in Nashville. You know, it's just like paying rent. There's so many reasons that it's just, I don't know. You can choose to have a band, and that can be a powerful like bond. But when you go
sure.
solo, you can just like you become so much more malleable, and you can just like yeah, I'll do this interview today. Yeah, I'll go here, and
Yeah,
we can agree on this, and I know I can sign up for this show. You know, like let's do it. you know,
exactly. Yeah, it's nice to not have to check in with like five different people and try to get everybody on the same page for one thing. It's like, yeah, you can kind of just take the reins and do what you think is best for your music. And yeah, I don't know. But it is cool also to have like that many people have the kind of the same vision as you. And
yeah, Yeah,
it's inspiring. It's like, okay, other people believe in what I'm doing enough to like carry the load with me. Like that's awesome. That's super cool. And
totally. If you
yeah,
can find group, it's
I
awesome.
miss that experience for sure.
Yeah, right. Do you so you finished school, right? You went to MTSU and graduated. You did the whole thing.
Did it, man. My mom was so proud of me because I didn't want to go to college. I really didn't. Like school. I don't know. Like I've been really fortunate from the time I was in like first grade. I've always been in art schools. Um, I went to a place called Linden Waldorf School. Have you heard of
That's
that?
right, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went there, and so like from first grade to eighth grade, I was playing music. They have you like sing in a choir starting in first grade through eighth grade, and then in third grade is when you like pick up a stringed instrument, and I chose violin, so I played that for like uh,
No way.
probably like 7 years. Yeah, man, I was pretty good. I played like Vivaldi and Mozart and all that type of stuff. I was third chair, which wasn't bad. But then I when I was 10, I picked up guitar, and then I was like, oh, I can actually like create stuff instead of just sight read music on this, and like I can write around this instrument, which is I think what I'd always been inclined to do. Um, so yeah, once I got to Nashville School of Arts for high school, I just kind of dropped violin and just started playing guitar all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
yeah, so
Is that where you met like a lot of those people that you're playing shows with early on? Like, is that kind of where your part of like
honestly,
the music scene connected?
it, I went to school with these people. Well, okay, like Hank Compton, for instance. I'm like 3 or 4 years older than him, so I was like a senior, I think, when he was a freshman.
Whoa,
Um,
yeah, right.
so I
Yeah, he's super
know
young.
him.
That's
Like
right.
NSA was like a small.
Oh snap! I lost you.
What happened, man?
I don't know. You're good. It cut off when you said
Because it was all pixelated. Now I can actually
sweet.
see.
Even better.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
cut off right when you said NSA was a small school.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you know where we left off. Yeah, and so I kind of like you kind of know who people are, especially like within your art, because I went there for guitar, and so I had heard about like Melanie Faye and stuff, and Hank Compton, and I just remember Doc, who was the guitar teacher. He was talking about Melanie Faye and like how ridiculous she was, and um, so I had known about these people, but I didn't know them per se until I was at MTSU in college, and then started playing out more. And then yeah, I think I opened for like Cumberland Blue, and that was like really the first time I'd talked to Hank Compton and Chloe Kohansky and Grant Smith and all them. Um, but it was cool because we had that connection of NSA. So it was like NSA is I don't know, it's big on like community, and it's just because you went to school there, it's like, oh, okay, like we have this one thing in common, and I don't know, man, it's like a family. It really is. Like I
Yeah.
became friends with so many people from NSA after I graduated there, and yeah, like still today, like my buddy Ricky and people that I never hung out with in high school are like now some of my closest friends, and it's just really cool, man. That school gives you a lot. Um, and like Bryant Taylor, if you know who he is, and
Mm.
AB, like all those guys, it's cool. Like I wasn't friends with them in high school, but now that we're out, like we'll see each other and like we'll say hey, and
Yeah.
it's really dope.
You grew up. What city did you grow up in?
Good old Santa Fe, Tennessee, not
That's
Santa
right.
Fe. Got to pronounce it wrong.
Santa Fe. You're
Yeah,
the only person I know from Santa Fe.
that's probably because I'm the only person who lives in that area, I think. There was, yeah, it's out in the sticks. and yeah, it's like an hour south of Nashville. Like if you know where Franklin is, it's like 30 minutes past that. A little bit past Leaper's Fork, if you know where Leaper's Fork is.
For sure.
Um, but yeah, man, I commuted an hour each way, for school my whole life, pretty much from first grade or pre-K, I guess, technically, through 12th grade. Shout out to mom and
Man.
dad. They did it. But I mean, the school system out there, Santa Fe High School, it's just not the best for sure. It's like, small town school, and I know I've had some like family friends who've graduated from there, and they did fine, but a lot, I don't know, it's just not as, I don't know, not as good of a school as you'd imagine. It's like 50 people in a class, like it's tiny.
Yeah, right.
And my parents worked in Nashville anyway, so it kind of worked out. So like on their way to work, they would drop me and Addie off at school and come pick us up, and then we do the long haul back home.
Man.
But it was cool, man. Like the car rides gave me so much time. Well, for one, to like do homework. So it was just like an hour of like essentially study hall, where I would just sit in the car and try to do homework, and then or just listen to music. So
Sure.
that's really where I started getting into a lot of music. Do you remember FYE, or like Tower Records and stuff?
No, no, I don't know what that is.
And it used to be right over there by Centennial Park.
Oh,
It
cool.
was like this record store, and so yeah, sometimes we would stop in there, and they'd have like the little listening stations where you could like preview like the album that you're thinking about getting, and so sometimes we'd go in there and I'll just like find all these records of like just random people that I'd never heard before, like David Gray, and like I think I got like into like Dave Matthews there for a second, and then a couple like funk records, which like I don't know, man. Like being in an artistic environment, I think my whole life, it didn't really put boundaries on like what I wanted to listen to. So I just find a bunch of random music, and then every single day going back and forth from school, I would just listen to music of just like these random genres that I would find.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I miss record stores, dude. Like that was such a cool experience.
Yeah, I have like some formative records I bought at Grimey's that like I didn't know anything about when I was in like middle school. With my brother drove me there, and I just like, it really is a special experience. It
Just like veg out for like an hour or two, and just
totally.
Well, I haven't been to Grimey's in a while. That's
Yeah,
like
right. Me either.
there aren't many record stores anymore, man. It's kind of a bummer.
There's not, and even Grimey's moving. Like I know it's in a better location, so but it is like weird to drive past 8th Avenue and not see it there.
I know it's a bummer.
It
It hurts.
I definitely
Really
relate to
hurts.
it wasn't an hour for me, but I grew up kind of near almost Nolensville, and I would go into town because my dad taught at Lipscomb, so I was going there my whole life. And so like, yeah, just like having like 35 minutes in the car every day to just like, I just remember I'd have my CD player, my headphones, and like listening to burning CDs and just listening to
That's
music.
how it was done, man. I remember
Yeah.
my whole world changed when my Uncle Mike, he gave me a iPod Nano for like Christmas, like when they
Oh,
yeah, man, and 2 gigabytes. I was like, what? This is crazy. I kept so much music on this. And so, yeah, man, I would just like, yeah, I would just find random stuff and just throw it on this little iPod Nano.
yeah, right. Um, it should
Game.
also be noted that your parents, talking about them driving you into school, even though they worked in town, they have always, like, from my perspective, knowing them, just been some of the most supportive and genuine and
They
caring
really are.
parents I've ever
Yeah.
met. Like they come out to when you play in the scene like you and I especially did back then, like playing a lot. you know, a lot of times even your close friends will just like, I'm gonna sit this one out. Like I saw you play last week, but it would your parents would always be there if they could. They were there, just crazy.
They are incredibly supportive. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing, man. I'm so lucky to have that, um, because I know a lot of like my friends' parents, like they don't really get it. Like I don't think like why they're trying to do music. They don't, they're like, why would you like not want to make money ever?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I am really lucky that they are really supportive, and I think too they just love Addie and I's friends too. Like, they see our friends like you, of course, and they're like, oh, this is an extension of my kids. Like, these are the people that they're hanging around, and when they see how wholesome everybody is, it's hard to not support, man. Like, everybody everybody just wants to make art and are just super supportive of each other, and yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And I think my parents realized that. And my dad, he plays a little bit of music, but primarily he's like a painter, so he's always been pretty artistic. And so I think,
So cool.
yeah, I think he understands like how important it is to like support other artists and like to encourage that type of expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome thing, man. I'm really lucky. Like they've done nothing but support me the whole time, and yeah, man, I wouldn't be where
That's
I'm at
cool.
now.
You have I mean, and then also the fact that you and your sister are so close and like are able to be in like a musical project together. I mean, I guess I just feel like you have a really special family, and your relationships with your family is just something that not a lot
The
of people
best.
have, you know, especially to like be able to collaborate with a sibling like creatively like that is very unique, very cool.
It is, yeah, it really is. And like you said, it is a unique situation, that I'm in. Like, my parents and my sister, like they're my best friends. And yeah, it's awesome. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like if I ever have kids, like I want to do it, pretty much the way that my parents have, where it's not like this like power dynamic where it's like a controlling thing. It's like they talk to Addie and I like, we're their friend. And I think having like no like that power struggle or whatever, or like I don't know, like controlling attitude, like just being able to treat your kids as a friend and as a person is super important. And both my parents do that really well. Like I can talk to them like I talk to you,
Right.
and
Totally.
it's a really cool thing, man. And I don't think I really realized it until I got to college and we're like hanging out with friends and their parents and seeing their dynamic. I'm like, oh wow, mine is like really kind of unique. Like this is dope. I wouldn't trade it for anything, man.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Like I love them so much. It's cool. I talk to them every day. I'm a
That's really
mama's boy.
awesome.
I call my mom like every day. We just hang out and talk on the phone, and she'll tell me like the same story she's told me like 5 days in a row. And like I haven't heard it before.
I love that, man. They're both so sweet. Let's see, so you went from Santa Fe, you're driving into Nashville every day, and
Mhm.
then by the time I met you, you were, I think, going to school at MTSU.
Yeah.
Um, and then when you graduated there, you moved to Nashville, right? Are you currently in Nashville? Are you back in Santa Fe?
No, I'm here in Nashville, man. I live right by the zoo.
No way.
Um, yeah, yeah, right by the zoo.
Your
Um,
room looks amazing.
Thanks. This is actually the studio. I don't know if you can see Towns. He's right,
Oh yeah, there he
right
is.
there. Yeah, he's taking a nap, man. He only slept for like 14 hours last night. So that's all he does is like sleep and then eat and bark at people walking on the street and passes out again. It's a good life. But yeah, man, this is a little home studio that we started right now I'm living with, you know, Austin Feinstein.
For sure.
Living with him, and Jackson Mayhall, if you know him,
Oh yeah.
plays plays bass, and we've been doing some stuff together. And Tommy Coley. So I
Whoa.
think especially in throughout the lockdown, it's been really nice to be around other creatives because we're not able to go out and have shows really. Like, you know, like there's not anything that from like a live standpoint that is able to keep us inspired except for each other, which is
Totally.
really cool. So yeah, anytime one of us writes a song, we say, hey man, can I show you this? And give each other pointers. And yeah, we're just kind of feeding off each other. And it's really cool, man. Like it's one of the best experiences I've had living with people. And everybody loves towns too. So yeah, life's been good. I've been really fortunate throughout the whole quarantine thing to be living with people that I love and that love me, and it's been cool,
Yeah.
man.
Jackson,
And my own studio, it's been great.
yeah, the guys you live with, Jackson and well, I've met Austin through you. Super awesome dude. Amazingly
Dude,
talented artist.
one of the best songwriters I've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
he reminds me uh like a John Prine almost. I'm like, when did you get so wise, dude? Like you're younger than I am. I don't know how he writes what he writes.
Yeah.
But he's recently, like this throughout quarantine, man, he's written a couple songs that like I still hear like when he plays them. I'm just like, that has to like have already been written. Like that's just so timeless. And so me and him, I've been helping him produce a song of his. And dude, he's just amazing, man. And yeah, I think the world of that guy.
Yeah, y'all
He's
become really
become
tight.
my friends. Say what again?
Yeah, just like y'all, I don't think that back when you were playing all the time, I hadn't really met Austin. I don't think he was like
He
around,
wasn't
but
even playing, dude. Yeah, he used to do music and then he stopped and he was living in Murfreesboro and like working at Publix, I think,
hmm,
um, with his girlfriend at the time. And then when me and him started hanging out, he and his lady had like broken up, and you know, it's like I think I want to get back into this music stuff again, and just started like cranking out songs. And so
whoa,
yeah, I was trying to find a buddy to like tour with, and you know who Ben Parks is?
for
He
sure.
plays drums, Sunseeker. I who also went to NSA. That's another guy that I know that went there, and Austin as well. But yeah, Ben had told me that Austin was trying to play out more and trying to do stuff. So I was like, I hit him up, and we played some shows together. And Austin was also trying to tour, and yeah, we started planning a tour one time, and then Austin was like, "Man, I'm trying to get out of Murfreesboro." I was like, "So is everybody." And
You and me
uh,
both, brother.
yeah, and I was like, "I'm looking for a place too," and so we like briefly like stopped planning tour, and then just started house hunting together, and then within like an hour or two, we found a house and went and looked at it the next day, I think, and then got it, and then just started living together like the next month, and then started going on tour, and like we've been super tight ever since.
That was the house that
Yeah,
you and like Krutsky and Briston all lived in.
yeah. It's actually like 10 minutes from here, back off of Nolensville Road. Yeah, off of Joyner. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, man, that was a good house. It was fun. Yeah, we had a lot of good little house shows there. And,
that's right.
yeah, man, that was a lot of fun to be there with those guys. We had a lot of crazy times, as you would imagine, with Briston and Luke and all that.
Yeah.
Like it was fun, man. I
Um,
miss those.
Jackson and Tommy also. I want to briefly say like Jackson's one of the best bass players. Tommy's one of the best keys players like I've ever met. Like in this scene, like those two
I
are
know, and I
phenomenal
have heard
musicians.
of them. It's wild. Yeah.
Do y'all ever
Um,
jam? Like does the crew ever just get together on like a Tuesday night and just
yeah.
make some music?
Uh, yeah, man, we do that for sure. Me and Jackson, and Tommy here and there. Um, and my buddy Nico Medina and Rashad Sylvester, who actually just released his own project, which is insane.
No way.
You should check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's it called?
Let It Play. It's the
Cool.
record. But he's a super cool guy, and yeah, we started at the beginning of quarantine, pretty much, or maybe through in like the mid ranges of it. We started like getting together and started like writing songs and just trying to, I don't know, try to start a little project here. And then we got some songs recorded that sound really good.
What?
Actually. And yeah, man. So I think we haven't met up in probably a month just because I've been out of town and like somebody's been out of town at some point. But yeah, so far we've got like 2 songs down. And yeah, we generally what happens is like Jackson comes in with like a ridiculous bass line and then we all just kind of build a song around it. And yeah, I'll write a lyrics and a melody to it and just kind of see what happens from there. But it's a lot of fun, man. Like those guys are crazy good. It's almost intimidating sometimes because like they're such amazing instrumentalists, and like I just write songs and can like fool people on guitar, and just like hearing them play, it's like I need to just like let them carry the weight on like the instrumentation of this, and they do, and yeah, it's been great, man. It's really really fun to work with.
Yeah, that's really
It's the
cool.
first time I've really done anything like that before.
Right. Do you feel like I guess let's say in the last like since we were both playing a lot, how have things kind of transitioned for you? Like I feel like for me there's been a lot of change in what I'm doing, but also a lot of change happening in music that has reshaped my understanding of like how to be a musician, you know? And I feel like both of those things have happened since those days that a lot of us, since we really had like a lot of friends that were all playing every night, we've all kind of, it's been fun to watch. I feel like everyone from that moment, like a couple years ago, is like, has their own direction and their own like style and their own idea and maybe just their own place in the world of music. I don't know. It's been really interesting. I'm wondering in what ways you feel like your relationship with your artistry has changed since then.
I think, to be honest, I've kind of felt more liberated with it through all of this, in a way, and I feel like I have a better idea of the music that I want to make, because past couple of years I feel like I've been kind of just like shooting in the dark, and like I said, I released like that folk record and stuff, and now I'm kind of to the point where I'm just like I want to make music that's for me, and like I don't feel like I have to work around other people anymore too, which is nice. And just kind of write what I want to write. And for me, it's been pretty liberating. And I think it's also been a good challenge too, because we're not actively going out and experiencing things. And so it's kind of weird, but like what I've been doing, and I think for the next record that I'm going to do, I've been writing songs about TV shows that I've watched, or in movies that I've watched throughout quarantine. And so that's been like a really cool kind of exercise and experience, is to like put yourself in the shoes of somebody that you're just watching from the outside, and like more story driven songs and that kind of stuff. And also just being able to like work with other people, like Jackson and Tommy, living with those guys and hearing what they're listening to and being like, oh, what? Like, I love this. Like, I didn't know I liked this kind of music before I heard it until now, but that changes the way that you write your own songs, is just by exposing yourself to new things. And I don't know. I feel more comfortable with myself and my music. probably because I've also had to practice more, and just like actually spend time with it and kind of go after songwriting more deliberately, I think, too. And yeah, I don't know. It's in a way, it's, you know, like when you're writing, when you're also playing shows and stuff, it's just like, okay, I'm writing this song. Like, is this song going to fit into the set? Like, if we want to work it up. And now I'm just kind of like writing just to write. And then, you know, I think a lot more pure stuff comes from that, because you're not trying to fit it into a mold that maybe you're currently already in.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I see performing has been really, really good for me and helped me in a lot of ways. But I think one way that it can be restrictive if you're not careful is that you start putting boundaries on your music because you want it to be able to work within a certain context. And like this quarantine, you know, that song I put out on Friday was my first song to put out without a drummer.
I love that song, man. It's so
thank you.
I told you, but it's probably my favorite one that I've heard from you so far, man. Like as soon as I heard it, I'm just like, this is like the new Freeze. I feel like this is like, I don't know. I just love like the tonality of it and the way it's produced. Like the whole sound just sounds even more like yourself. And dude, it's a beautiful song. Congratulations on it.
Thank you, man. You know, I really appreciate you saying that, and I think that, you know, it feels really good to put out, and it kind of, I felt that liberty that I think you're talking about. Like it was just me and those guys and the boys. For them, we just got together a couple times and we were just hanging out in Brady's tiny studio, and he uses Ableton, and we were just messing around, and like we just felt, I didn't feel any restriction for multiple reasons. One, because I was making a song with them, so I didn't feel as much of this like artistic integrity and pressure of like, oh, is this going to sound like me? And then also, since I'm not playing, I'm not worried about adapting it to a live context, so I could really just make a song that just like create a song and just feel good about it, and not be like, oh, why don't we have live drums, or why don't we have this or that, or how am I going to, you know, convert this to live? It's just out and it just feels good.
Dude, yeah. Have you guys been working on any more songs together?
We're starting to work on another song. I think we're just going to keep trying to collaborate. And honestly, I'm trying, like, one thing that I feel like has changed for me in the last year. Well, actually, let's expand this. So probably since like 2017, like Freeze Fest 3, like 3 years ago, I was still super into like albums and like rock music. And like, I thought that I had this understanding because the bands I grew up listening to, which grew up meaning like literally that year and the years before, were doing that. Like you would put out an album every 3 years and it would be like 10, 12 songs, like 44 minutes. And so I thought that was what I was supposed to do. And I kickstarted an album and I made it and like recorded it in a session. And that was, you know, what's up? Is that one of your roommates here?
Jackson, man. We were just talking about you, dude.
Hey, man.
Hey.
What's going on, dude? Long time no see, man.
Dude, so good to see you, man.
Too long, man.
It's been way too long.
He's late for class, man. Otherwise, he said he'd stay longer.
Oh man.
Be safe. Dude, I'll get the door behind you.
I'm gonna watch the podcast.
You got your hands. Hey, take it easy. Dude, I don't know how he lugs around that massive bass everywhere. That would drive me insane.
Yeah, he's literally been doing that since we met. I don't know how he.
I guess it'd
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, point being that, like, just my understanding of music, just adapting, I feel like, even during quarantine, is giving me a good chance to really hit a reset and be like, okay, I don't really know if albums are even like as essential as they used to be. And, you know, it's just like making a collaborative song. I would have been really nervous. Probably would have never done that like 2 years ago. But now, like, just looking at how the language is spoken and how people use Spotify, it's just like, oh, you can just drop a song with someone else and it doesn't really matter. Like you put it out, if it doesn't do very well, if no one likes it, it'll just sink to the bottom of your Spotify and doesn't matter. You can make another one.
At the end of the day, man, it's just like every song is an idea, and some ideas are better than others or stick, better. But yeah,
Right.
I love that you also feel that too, man. It's because I feel like it's really easy to get in your head and try to create like the perfect thing. But
Totally.
sometimes it's those imperfections that are perfect, and that's what makes the song like what it is, and just kind of letting it do its own thing. And especially with, like you said, with working with other people, it's like, oh, I never would have thought to like do it this way, but like that's that person's creativity and that's their influence on this song, and you don't want to take away from that.
Yeah.
That's art and music. Like I think, yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're also able to experience that too.
Yeah, right. And I do also like collaborating even within your own band, like even if it's just under music under your name, it's amazing how much influence the people around you can have if you allow them to. And sometimes I try to get my fist tightens and I'm like, oh, like I need to be in control of every arrangement and piece of this. But then you're working with a person like Jackson Mayhall and you're like, this person studied bass. Like this person went to school for this.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, why would I need to be the one who writes this bass line? I don't know. I just sometimes I'm like, man, I'm just too stiff.
Yeah. And that was like a hard thing for me to do. And I think I'm still practicing it, is just being more hands off and like understanding that I don't know what's best like all the time. Like I have like ideas and stuff, but
Right.
you don't want to let your preconceived thoughts on something affect how like the later outcome is, because sometimes like what you thought it needed isn't at all correct. And it's a hard thing to do, to let go of that, especially when like you wrote the song, because you're attached to it, and that's your baby, and you want to make sure that it's represented in the right way. But
Yeah, for sure.
so sometimes like you have to let the song do what's best for itself. And
Yeah, right. Do you feel like for yourself, like let's say the rest of this year and like moving forward into like the new year, especially like amidst what we're all going through and like being in quarantine, you said that this song you're putting out is just a one-off, but do you have any more plans to like put anything else out, or any other like ideas outside of releasing music attached to like your music career? I know that you said you said a sentence that shocked me twice. You said, my manager told me to get on TikTok. You posted that the other day, and I was stoked to hear that you were on TikTok, and also stoked to hear, do you really have a manager?
I do. Yeah, I do have a manager. Like I said, there's not a whole lot to be managing right now, because nothing, like I don't like there's not a lot we can do, dude. Like we're just kind of stuck. But yeah, his name is Brandon Lacasio, and I met him through a mutual friend of ours, and yeah, we've become pretty tight, and it's really nice to have somebody to game plan with, and I don't know, it's also nice to have somebody who like believes in what you're doing as well. It's really inspiring to have that.
Yeah, right.
And so yeah, but he made me get a TikTok the other day, and
I think that's awesome.
like it's so weird. Like I really don't like social media very much.
Right.
It just because it's distracting. But at the same time, it's amazing that you're able to communicate with that many people all at once, which is really kind of.
Why is it distracting? I mean, I probably agree. I'm just curious.
I mean, just like, I don't know. Like I could just like take out my phone right now and just like check Instagram if I wanted to, and it's just like, like it's sometimes I wish like I didn't have that urge to just like
totally
pick up my phone and just do that. And I don't know. I think being present in your own life is better than glancing at somebody else's like highlights of theirs. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like a true connection with people, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it gives us all these like analytics to make us feel like, oh, like you're your own entrepreneur now. Like you can see how many people like this thing and how your growth. And you're like, I think right when you first start getting that, like you switch to a business account or you're trying to take your music seriously. You're like, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get to like see my growth and we're going to like, but then it's just like, wait, I don't even know if I need to have really good engagement, like,
Sure.
I don't know. Like the people who get, if you go to your Discover page, you'll see who gets tens of thousands of likes. It's like just models and memes. And it's just like, why am I even trying? Like, I don't know. It's sometimes I just,
I can't compete with that.
yeah, right. So I think it can be distracting.
As far like, I don't know, as far as like promotion and stuff, it's all about really how you use it, like
Yeah.
for shows and stuff, it's great. Like to be able to promote shows and like promote your music when you're releasing something new. But yeah, as far as just mindlessly using Instagram, I try not to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. TikTok is interesting, I guess. I don't really understand how to work it yet. So far, all I've done is just upload a video that I already uploaded to Instagram. And that's like the extent of it. That was like a week and a half ago at least. So yeah, I don't have too much TikTok presence yet. But yeah, I'm doing kind of what I can. It never hurts, I guess, to like try it.
Yeah, I think the difference between you and like maybe other artists, if I talk to them, you're talking about social media as being a channel. You're like, I'm creating something. There are people. I will use this channel to like get it to them. But I think some people see social media, whether it's TikTok or YouTube or whatever, and they're like, this is my platform. I need to speak the language of this app.
Mm-hmm.
And like that is the meeting place. That's where we will like engage. You know what I mean? Like, but
yeah, people that do that. Like, I think, yeah, and I wish I was better at it. And I mean, I do like a decent job of staying active on social media.
But everybody, I mean, everybody's got their limitations there. You can't just
like Allison Young, man. Like,
she's
I think
amazing.
Yeah, dude. Like the way that she uses her account is like, yeah, it's a platform for sure, and it works for her. And but my goal for social media is that I get successful enough with music to where I don't have to run an account anymore. Like it's just not something that
it's cool.
I want to invest a lot of time doing. Just because I don't know, man. Like I just want to play music instead of telling people to listen to my music, basically. Which I don't know. Like I still am gonna be on there, and I'm still gonna promote my stuff, but it's not the first thing that I wake up every day. Like, can't wait to be on Instagram and like promote stuff. I'd rather sit back and relax and write and create. But yeah, no, like it is really cool. Like you can definitely figure out how to engage with people through that and reach an unlimited amount of people, basically, if you do it correctly.
I think like a couple years ago I would have like pushed you more on that. I would have maybe disagreed more. I would have been like, oh, like you gotta use this, but like I think now that I've seen more, like there's so many ways you can succeed as an artist, and ultimately there's going to be some compromise in some ways that you're going to have to like engage in things you don't want to, but social media is like, some people are just going to be fluent in that language and they're just going to like just love doing that, and other people are just going to like if it doesn't bring you joy, then why? I don't know. I think that there's something to like understanding that and being like, cool, I want to write songs. Like I want to make music. And I think that people will meet you there. Like I have some of my favorite artists, like let's say Kurt Vile. He's not like, he doesn't do Instagram. Like he barely does. He just kind of posts picture occasionally. Doesn't matter because I know he doesn't care about it. And I wouldn't even want him to care about it. He should be making my favorite records of all time. That's what I like. That's what I love. And and touring. Like that's, so I think people don't have as high of an expectation as like the music business tries to tell us. It's like, oh, you have to do these things. You have to work. You have to make sure all of your pages look perfect and you respond every minute. And it's just like, well, then I can't breathe and then I can't make art, you know?
Exactly. And yeah, I'm right there with you, man. And I think if like the product and art that you're making is good enough, everything will probably take care of itself. Like I don't think, you know, me posting every other day on social media about something to do with my music is gonna get me success necessarily. Like the first thing, like you have to have a good foundation first. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's something like we're all working on, is just like trying to release something that's better than our last project.
Yeah. Right.
Like, and that's all you can really do is just try to get better, try to get your art better. And then I think people will catch on as long as you're making something that's genuine and good. Like, that's really all it takes. Is like, you know, and then, you know, you do have to promote it so that people will hear it. But yeah, I don't think that some, like, I don't know, dude from a major record label is gonna be like, oh my god, this guy's social media is incredible. Let's get him on board. Like, it's like, you know, you gotta sound good first.
Yeah. Totally. You
That's
have to.
that's where my focus is primarily, rather than yeah.
Do you, I'm curious because I feel like you and I have both come from a similar spot and like a similar understanding of music.
Yeah.
And our friends that we grew really tight with in the music scene, a lot of them just like popped off. And it's been, it is incredibly inspiring to watch. And also as an artist, I think it can be like when you're trying to figure out how to succeed at something, watching people just like succeed so quickly. And you're kind of like, you're trying to take notes to just understand, oh, how did that happen? Is there something I could have been doing differently? And a lot of time, you know, a lot of people just tell you to work hard, but I feel like my perspective is changing because now I've toured and toured. I've played like 500 shows and always working on music. And I still don't think that it's like, I don't think that am like, I don't know. It's just, I'm now beginning to wonder if that is actually what will lead towards like commercial success, or if it's just what I love doing. Like, I don't, I wonder if how important, it seems like a lot of our friends have like succeeded through maybe like industry help.
Yeah.
Do you think that the industry is like, I mean, what is your relationship with that? Do you see that as like something you have to collaborate with, like labels and, you know, booking agencies?
I mean, I don't think it could hurt. I mean, I say, you know, try every avenue that opens itself up to you. Like, I wouldn't, you know, like, I think co-writing is a good way to do that. And like, it's a good way to just, I don't know, get to know the people in the industry. But more than that, I think it's also just finding people that, you know, like you can trust as well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I really don't have really any industry connections. And sometimes that can be frustrating because, yeah, like you said, I see some people who knew somebody and now they're like doing what I want to be doing.
Yes, totally.
You know, and that's good for them, man. Like, you know, all of our buddies who have made it, man, they totally deserve it. And,
yeah,
you know, I definitely think sometimes I'm like, okay, my turn gonna happen. And it's just like, for me, it's just like, I just have to be better, I guess. Like, you know, that's it. That's what it comes down to. I just have to get better at what I'm doing. And as soon as I make something that's like undeniably good, that's, that's just what I have to do. And that, because that's what all of them did. Like
Yeah.
Maddie Medley, dude, she's incredible. Like her songwriting, like she's one of the best songwriters I know. And dude, Hank, like also incredible. Briston, incredible. And it's, I don't know. To me, it's really special to like see them where they were at one point and where they are now, and whether they had industry help or not, they were like just really good all along, and they also got
So
better.
true. Yeah.
Because I remember, like I remember seeing Maddie play at like Kimbrough's and like the East Room and stuff, and she's always really good. And then one day or one night, I remember she played a set at the East Room, and I think I can't remember what had happened, but I don't know. I guess something in her just clicked. Like she was like singing, and now it's kind of like what she's known for is like that, like she can belt it, and her voice is just super powerful. It was like the first time I feel like she really just let loose, and everybody was like, who is this girl? Like, she's amazing. And then from then on, it was all uphill, or all up from there. And
Yeah.
I think she set the standard higher for herself. And I think Briston did the same thing, man. Like, I don't think it's an easy road to get there by any means, but I think at the same time you have to, you just have to push yourself even more somehow and create something that is undeniably good. And that's what Briston did too, man. Like Briston was always really good. And then, he went through a lot of stuff, and then he came back, and I think kind of just like, I don't know, something changed in Briston, I think, that like made him be like, this is what I live and breathe. And I'm like, he just got even better somehow. It's like now for me, it's just like, now that's what I have to do. And I have to write better songs, and I also have to record them in a way that conveys like the song in a way that I want it to sound, first of all, but also that is going to be enjoyable for people. And like my EP, I think that was a good experience. Like it's not, I don't play those songs anymore, honestly. Like I really don't ever. Like I can't remember how to play them. But I listen back to those songs and I'm like, wow, like I don't know, like that's not the music that I don't think I was meant to make. And I think the journey of finding your sound and the voice that you want to have is important. And once you're confident in that voice, I think everything else will fall into place. At least that's what I hope. But,
that's what I hope too. And I think that's definitely.
And I think that's really what it was like Briston and Hank and Maddie. Like they all found their voice, and I think them believing in themselves made other people believe in it too.
There's some truth to that for sure.
To be honest, and I feel like now finally, like I feel confident in my voice and my music.
That's awesome.
And I don't think I had really felt that before. I think I was always kind of questioning myself, and now I'm to the point, I think, where it's like, I don't have to put myself into this box to make this one kind of music or do something one way. I can do it my way, and I think that'll draw people to it, I hope. And if it doesn't, then there's nothing I can do about that. But it to me, it's it's all right. Just because whether I'm like cutting yards or like doing whatever to make money, I can still come home and make the music that I want to make. And one day I'll get there, and I know you will too. And it's just a matter of time, man. Like I think you just have to be really patient.
I think that's definitely true, and that is definitely the road I've seen. Like you, and that's the road I try to be on, and a lot of our friends just to work hard. And I think I feel best when I'm doing that, when I'm making my art, when I'm booking my tour, when I'm just like doing the things that bring me joy. And sometimes when I think when I see like being in Nashville and having so many friends who, like you said, like nothing but stoked for, but when you see like success happen in such weird, unexplainable ways, it sometimes throws me off of the track I'm on. And I feel best when I'm just on that track, when I'm just like making art. And but then sometimes I'm like, man, should I just be like shaking more hands and going to meetings and like being like, hey, I need to introduce myself to Atlantic Records? But I'm like, I just don't want to do that. Like nothing in my heart wants to do stuff like be fake or like, but I don't know, maybe I should like budget in like a tiny percent of time to like send more emails. But it's not something that I like wake up wanting to do. And I feel like if I can just focus on the art, like you said, like that's the reason it all exists. Like that's the reason we're here, is like to make art. And the reason people listen to music is to listen to good music, not to like, like if you can create that, then you can like speak the language. I don't know. That's the most important language to me. It's the language of like the soul,
Right there with you, man. And like I said, I think as long as we just continue to do what we're doing, and as long as we have this desire to be better than we were the day before, and just also holding ourselves accountable, you know, I think everything will take care of itself. And it used to be something that I used to worry about a lot. I'm like, when am I gonna make it? And I'm like, what does make it even mean? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I hear these stories, like Leonard Cohen, even like he didn't even start really he wasn't even serious about music till he was like in his mid 30s. And then same with this, well, I don't know if you know who like His Golden Messenger is.
Totally. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. He didn't even make it until he was like 40. And so it's like, I think if you love it enough and keep at it for long enough, I don't know, it's going to come around to you. As long as you keep chasing it, one day you're going to get there.
I totally agree with that.
I think that's something that me and you both and a lot of other people, friends of ours, are going through right now. And it's weird right now because we're forced to live under a rock currently, and we can't go out and play shows. We can't, like nobody's seeing us play right now just by chance. And it's a weird time for that. It's a weird time to be a musician. Every single person I tell that I tell I'm a musician, they're like, oh man, sucks to be in that industry right now. It's like, like kind of. Like, I don't know. Like, what else are we gonna do though? Like, that used to be the extent of my worry. It was like, when am I gonna make it? When am I gonna like make a living from this? And it's, it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna be doing it anyway. So I don't know. Like, and one day we will make it because we try hard enough. And that's, and to be honest, I think that's like the purest form of art is not expecting a return on it, like you're just writing for yourself, and you're doing what you think is cool, and it's your expression, and hopefully you get good at conveying those thoughts and ideas that it relates to others, and then that's how you build success, I guess.
Totally. I think like I mentioned earlier, Kurt Vile being one of my heroes. One of the things that's like, I knew that I loved his music before I knew anything about his story, and his albums just have such a unique sound to them that I just became obsessed with. And I started listening to interviews and trying to understand where he came from. And when he was like 23, he got a job as a forklift operator and literally did that for 6 years and just would just go home and like make demos. And he put out his first album when he was like 30. It was just one album of like, after like 6 years, he's just like, here's some demos. And then since then he's just like been making music, and he's always just like, if I didn't have all that time until I was
Yeah.
like 30 to just like make art at home. He was like, I would not be making the music I make now. Like, he's like, it's the reason it's people think it sounds original. It's just because I spent so much time with it, and I spent so much time just finding my own voice in this world. And I think that's more valuable than anything. That's just so special. And I don't know.
I'm so sorry. I like I only have like 2 applications open on my computer. So hopefully like closing those out will like I don't know what's going on.
It's all good, dude.
But yeah, what you're saying is like, yeah, you have to have that time to put into your art, so that you can, yeah, I don't know, just kind of hone it. And to be honest, man, like I'm kind of glad like I haven't really had like major success, because thinking back to where I was when I was like 21 or 22, I think that would have gone probably just straight to my head maybe, and I wouldn't have known how to handle it.
Yeah.
And, you know, at the place where I'm at now, it's like looking back to where I was, I'm like, oh man, yeah, that could have been really bad. I think even more important than finding commercial success with your music is like, I don't know, finding yourself first, so that you can enjoy that when it does happen. I don't know, like I feel like, yeah, I don't know, I'm in a much better place now than I was, even just last year. And you know, I think all that stuff happens for a reason, and even if it doesn't, like, you know, I'm still in the same spot and I'm better than I was this time last year. So I don't know, I think it's gonna come our way for sure. But
Yeah.
it's nothing we can worry about, man. It's just we just gotta keep our head down and work hard and try our best, and that's it. 'Cause I'm getting old, dude. I'm gonna be 26 in February, and
Whatever, man.
I'm just ready to retire, man. You know what I mean?
That's funny, dude. I think you've got a lot of like, honestly, you've got like a lot of like spiritual truth to what you're saying, man. There's like some true, just like, that's where it like living in your soul and not worrying about tomorrow, not worrying about success. I mean, that's it. So I appreciate you taking some time to talk to me today. I think this has been a really, really cool conversation. I hope that the people who hear this, like, you know, especially artists, can like hear this and hopefully think about some of this stuff too, and what it really means, like why we make art, what is the purpose of our art, and like what's the purpose of being here, you know, and just like what's most important, you know.
Exactly. And dude, yeah, I such a great idea for you to do this podcast, and yeah, thanks again for having me, dude. It's been so much fun, man. And plus, I just miss you like crazy. I haven't seen you in so long, and yeah,
I miss you too,
dude,
man.
we gotta grab coffee or something.
Yeah, we should. You know, I don't live too far from you. I live. Wait, what'd you say?
I'll be sure to bring Towns with us.
Oh, please do. I live on Nolansville Road, so we probably don't live too far from each other.
No way. Okay.
Yeah, I live down like south.
I'm like off the Harding exit. You know
For sure. Yeah. I'm like, if you keep going south for a while, like for like 15 minutes, you'd get to my house. You'd take one right. It's like near like Lenox Village, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I know where that is, dude.
That's where I walk every day.
Yeah, you're probably like maybe 10 minutes from me, I think.
Yeah, right.
That's awesome, man.
We can meet in the middle and get some street tacos.
Oh, dude. Oh, yeah. We should do that. I got some the other day, and I made the mistake of I didn't know it was a jalapeno pepper. I thought it was just like a roasted green pepper that they put in the box of my tacos. So I just took I ate like the whole thing at once, and oh my God, dude, I was crying. Like
That would have destroyed me.
down my face. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was on it like a date at the time, and I just like walked into the other room, and I was like, I just gotta get it together, man. I don't have any milk in the fridge. Like I'm sweating now. It's not a good look.
Oh man,
It's
that's
not a good look. It was really funny. So yeah, we should definitely get street tacos though, man. That'd be fun. There's Nolensville Road is caked in taco trucks.
It is, man. I'm on a search to find the best one. So let's go find a new truck together and see what we find.
Yeah, we could take a little stroll down Nolensville Road.
For real, man.
Tacos.
Yeah, bro. Thanks. Yeah, thanks again. This has been awesome. For anyone listening who's, doesn't already, they should find your music on Spotify, Augustus Carroll. Also, follow you on social media. If they want to.
If they want to, yeah.
Good way to keep up, and you always post about your music and stuff on there. So, and occasionally even throw us a bone like that. For a Change. What was that? That song you did? Let's see. The one sitting right there. The four of you.
Yeah, all four of me, man. Yeah. Shout out to Blacklock for in that. Yeah, that's another cool thing. Josh Blaylock also went to NSA, graduated before I was even there, but yeah, we've become friends over that connection of NSA, and they give away a free beat every Friday, man. You should do it too.
That sounds sick. I didn't know about that. I'll have to check that out.
They're super talented. Yeah, killer guys too. Just really, really sweet people.
Right on, man.
All right, Freeze.
It's been great, dude, and I hope can't wait to hear the new single. And yeah, let's get some lunch soon. Great talking.
Let's do it. Love you, man.
Love you too. Have a good rest of your day.
Hey, you do the same.
Peace.